Welcome to The Hypnotist, the show that gives you inside access to cutting-edge hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. Brought to you by the hypnotherapist demanded by celebrities, CEOs, and even royalty, Adam Cox. These recordings took place live from Adam's clinic in London's world-famous Harley Street. This podcast features powerful hypnosis, so do not listen while driving or operating machinery. This recording is not suitable for those with epilepsy or severe mental health issues. So, get yourself comfortable and enjoy today's episode of The Hypnotist.
Hi, it's Adam here, and in this episode of The Hypnotist, you're going to be listening to a hypnosis session created for a client to help them with a fear of storms and a fear of winds. And this came about as a result of severe panic and anxiety linked to major storms in the past. And since that point in time, they were experiencing anticipatory fear whenever they would get signs of an upcoming storm, such as weather reports or seeing a windy day, for example. What you're going to hear in this particular hypnosis session is an analogy that links the idea of the fear itself to be a prison sentence, and that we then give a new evaluation. What was clear is that, and this client had proof of this, that the real cause of the anxiety was not wind itself, but it was the evaluation of the possibility of wind based on the presupposition that that would make them feel anxious and they wouldn't like that feeling. So in this particular hypnosis session, what you're going to hear is a way of representing new evaluations, first of all, to the idea of wind coming in the future and linking that to a positive emotion. And then the idea that actually by feeling that they can not only cope and handle, but aren't afraid of wind in a particular situation, that becomes a convincer strategy to then keep the phobia gone for good. I think if you have a fear of wind and storms, this would be useful. But of course, this is a small element of what took place over 2 different sessions. And therefore, if you do feel like you have an intense phobia or severe anxiety, it might be worth clicking the link in the show notes to schedule a free consultation call with me. But you might find that this actually short recording here actually is helpful and is beneficial. So find a quiet place where you won't be disturbed, relax, and enjoy the session. Take a deep breath in. And as you breathe in a resourceful feeling of relaxation. And as you exhale, just allow any feelings of tension or stress to leave your body in your outward breath. As you breathe in and breathe out, just get a sense of where you notice any tension in your body. Maybe in your neck, your jaw, around your eyes or your forehead. And I want you to increase the intensity of that tension. Tense all the muscles in your shoulders, your neck, your jaw. Clench your fists and increase the level of tension to the highest level you can. Take a deep breath in, and on the outward breath, release that tension. And notice that sometimes you have to increase the intensity to release it. And I want you to entertain an idea that avoidance feels like it's the solution to anxiety. That when you avoid something, because it has a presupposition that you can't handle that thing, you get lower levels of anxiety for a long period of time. Perhaps you can remember a time when you had a splinter, maybe in a finger, a thumb, or a toe, and there was this low level of pain. And you were reluctant to remove that splinter because you knew for a short period of time there would be more pain, or perhaps a wobbly tooth. But then when that splinter was finally removed, yes, for a few seconds the pain was more intense, but then the pain disappeared. That wobbly tooth that was creating this idea of, will it go out, will it not go out? But when it finally went, all of those emotions disappeared. I want you to create in your own imagination a representation, an image of a prison. Imagine a prison cell. Imagine perhaps solitary confinement. And accept the suggestion that in this prison cell, certain choices aren't possible for you. Certain things you want to do, you can't do. There are restrictions and limitations in this prison. But I want you to imagine that weirdly in this particular prison, your release state will be a windy day. Perhaps it has to be at least 60 or 70 miles an hour. And for some reason, that's the requirement for you to escape this prison. I want you to imagine there is a TV. There's a weather channel. And there's certain channels that play the weather at certain times of the day. And I want you to get a sense that there is a curiosity to look at the weather, because you know that the weather gives an indication of a future windy day, and that future windy day, if they detect it going a certain speed, will mean your immediate freedom. And I want you to imagine perhaps days, weeks, even months go by, and there's a weather report saying that in 5 days' time, they're expecting a big storm with windy weather. And I wonder what your evaluation would be. I wonder what emotion you would feel. And maybe it's something you would look forward to. Maybe you would anticipate that windy day in a positive way. You certainly wouldn't imagine it to be something that is a bit annoying, or something where you need to be a bit careful. Perhaps you would evaluate as, this is what I've been waiting for. You might be eager and looking forward to that particular day. And then imagine it is that day. You can see the wind. But in order to fully escape from the prison, there is one final challenge. And that challenge is you versus the wind in your own garden. I want you to imagine you're in the garden. If you move away from the wind, you hide, you stay in the prison cell. If you face the wind, refuse to back down, you escape immediately. I want you to imagine seeing the swaying trees. Maybe there's wind and rain on your face, and maybe you can't stop smiling because you are accessing the most resourceful version of you. Imagine how resourceful you would be at your most resourceful. You had to do something for the people you love the most. And I want you to imagine you're that level of resourceful. Because when someone's freedom is at stake, you unlock the most powerful resources ever. I want you to evaluate your inner dialogue as you experience the wind, see the wind. I've got this. I can handle this. Perhaps even bring it on. Maybe you see the trees really violently sway and notice your inner dialogue. Whatever happens, I can handle it. Imagine that this is a psychological game of chicken. Whoever backs down first loses. And I want you to imagine that you're going to stay out there in that garden with that wind until the anxiety is not there anymore. Your body can only produce adrenaline for about 20 minutes. So maybe 25 minutes, 30 minutes of being out in the wind, your body just can't make you feel anxious anymore. Some people don't realize that anxiety is a left hemisphere activity. So just shifting your weight from left to right foot, or having a ball in your hand and switching it from left to right hand, things that require coordination, activate the right hemisphere of your brain. And meaning that you're out there in the wind, you're seeing the trees sway, and the anxiety isn't there. When the anxiety isn't there, imagine casually walking back into the house, grinning from ear to ear, knowing this is your freedom. Because the wind was never the problem. It was the evaluation. And when you've come face to face with a windy day in your own garden, how could you possibly evaluate that you can't handle something when you've already proven you can handle it? And if your unconscious mind accepts these suggestions to be true and useful, and that wind will indeed be your ticket to freedom, let me know by nodding your head. And then imagine returning back to that jail cell, receiving your belongings, and then walking out of that prison to a future of freedom where the limitations of the past are now the opportunities of the future, creating an even more powerful belief system that if you face this fear, this intense fear, what other wonderful opportunities are also possible in your life? Do you imagine walking forward, find yourself back in your own body in the present right now? Take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your nose. Wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes, all parts returning to the present with a new belief system that the wind is now your ticket to the freedom, and that anxiety is proportionate to your evaluations. And your evaluation is that you can handle the wind, and you're eager to prove it. Starting to count from 1 to 10 to awaken you. Starting to count 1, 2, 3, waking up. 4, 5, 6, more alert. 7, 8, open your eyes, open your eyes. 9, 10, wide awake, wide awake, wide awake.
Thank you for listening to The Hypnotist with Adam Cox, the show that gives you inside access to cutting-edge hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. To automatically receive the latest episodes, please subscribe. If you'd like to support the show, please share this episode with just one friend you think it could help. And if this episode helped you, please leave us a 5-star review.